When it comes to Rockstar Games, one of their most consistent things is their tendency to expand. Whether it's the jump from 2D GTA games to the 3D era, or how massive GTA San Andreas was when compared to everything that came before it, we can always see that this company takes expansion very seriously. Fortunately, this applies to Grand Theft Auto 6 as well, and there is no doubt that its map will be bigger than everything that we have seen so far. However, something not everyone knows is that the map of GTA 6 was supposed to be huge, larger than anything we could have expected. According to the September 2022 leaks, we came to learn that one of the code names for the game is Project Americas. And yes, that is exactly what it sounds like. Rockstar Games was planning to make a map so large that it would have been a virtual representation of America, which would include both the central and south sides of it, which is, of course, way bigger than just Vice City because all that covers is a recreation of Miami. We have many concept maps that show us what this could have been like, which is insanely exciting to see because even though we have games like Microsoft Flight Simulator which let us travel the entirety of America, that is only possible in air, and you can't really get off on the streets and explore as an avatar. But if something like this was done in Grand Theft Auto, even if it was a fictional or scaled-down version of America, it would have still been an amazing experience because you would be able to travel everywhere, find recognizable places, and commit all kinds of fun and missions in there. Even just looking at the concept maps for these things makes you want to jump right into GTA 6 because of how much you would be able to find, because even the tiniest GTA maps are filled with fun things to do and all kinds of Easter eggs. So just imagine the myths and rumors that would come out for a game on this scale. Unfortunately, according to industry sources and other leaks, we now know that the Grand Theft Auto 6 map is not going to be as huge as Rockstar Games was originally planning to make it, and we know the reasons behind it, which are very understandable, even if it is a bit of a bummer by the end of the day. Firstly, development time and costs have increased massively over the years because of the fact that Rockstar Games always has to make a larger game than what they previously released. And since graphics and technologies are becoming greater every single day, more time, effort, and money has to be spent on taking care of every single detail and making sure that fans won't be able to nitpick about it being outdated. Secondly, we have the fact that Rockstar Games suffered from a lot of criticism both from their own employees, journalists, and fans for their extreme crunch conditions, which were most prominently experienced by people who worked on Red Dead Redemption as they had to pull 20-hour workdays, and there was a report of a person even collapsing within their office due to exhaustion. So, one thing that Rockstar decided to do from this point on, which is confirmed by a Bloomberg report, was to eliminate the crunch culture within their offices, which means that employees only have to work reasonable hours even if they do overtime. And this slows down development because it means that it has to be halted every day for people to go home and then come back to. And since the September leaks happen, they might trust remote work even less now, which reduces their options even further. Hardware limitations play a role in this too. Now, if you hear that we have hardware limitations in 2023, it might feel weird because the PS5 and Xbox Series X are powerhouses that support ray tracing and 4K gaming. And so are computers of this generation, which are insanely powerful. We already know that a game with clever coding can easily give us a huge map that we can explore. However, this does not work when you consider the fact that the development of GTA 6 started many years ago. Every game that comes out was in development a long time before that point, and that means the company has to work with limited resources and older technology. So, it wouldn't be surprising at all if Rockstar Games had to scale back because of hardware limitations of that time too. An interesting thing to note about Rockstar Games is that the number of cities in any GTA game does not equal to a large size. The 2D GTA games had multiple cities for the player to explore, yet those maps were smaller than anything that the 3D era has to offer, even if we only look at Grand Theft Auto 3 itself, which has one city and is the first game that stopped being 2D too. Then we have GTA San Andreas, which feels like it has one of the largest maps in an open world game and even contains multiple cities. We have Los Santos, San Fierro, Las Venturas, and the entire countryside that the player can visit. And all of these are cleverly made smaller versions of real-life American cities, which adds a lot of variety to the experience because none of the 4 locations look the same as each other. But when we go into specifics, we aren't overly familiar with the San Andreas map just because we played the game too much. It's because outside of the illusion of having big cities, the map itself is quite small. It's about 33 square kilometers, which is huge for the time, but nothing big in 2023. That is because Grand Theft Auto 5 came out with with a map which is 75 kilometers, which dominates the old San Andreas map without any effort. And this is often confusing for some people because the map of GTA 5 only contains Los Santos and Blaine County. We don't have the Las Venturas or San Fierro. This does get rid of the variety that the old game had to offer within its locations and sometimes makes the map feel smaller too due to the lack of options. However, if we set our feelings aside, it's undeniable that the map of GTA 5 is objectively massive, and it puts a new spin of Los Santos, which makes it feel like a real-world city. And this shows us the genius of Rockstar Games and how they expand. And the same applied to GTA 4 too, as its version of Liberty City, despite being a single city, was much larger than what GTA 3 and Liberty City stories had to offer. So even if the GTA 6 map is no longer going to be as diverse as it was once meant to be, even if we only get Vice City as an explorable location, it's still going to be bigger than anything that we have seen before, whether in GTA San Andreas, GTA 4, GTA 5, or even Red Dead Redemption 2. And this is honestly very exciting because even the GTA Vice City had one of the smallest maps in the series. I remember it was so much fun to explore due to its aesthetics and upgrades from the emptiness of GTA 3. Last but not least, there is an alleged leak that was posted recently on Twitter, and it shows a specific section of the upcoming GTA 6 map, with the realistic chunk of land that has residential buildings, a bunch of roads, and tons of greenery too, with a water body being visible on the left side, which will be a very common thing in the Vice City map. Whether this leak is real or not is unknown at the time, but it would surely be bad news for Rockstar if they are still unable to keep their things under wraps even after the September leak. But some fans seem to believe that while a part of it is real, the rest might be AI generated and thus cannot be from the upcoming game. GTA Vice City featured two prominent gangs, which were the Cubans and Haitians, and you could find both of them walking around the poorer neighborhoods of the game, such as Little Haiti and Little Havana. Although we never went to Cuba itself and the neighborhoods that you could visit did not represent the island, it was still something that stood out quite a lot, to the point that the gangs had to be renamed later due to controversies of stereotyping the people of their respective nations. Interestingly, even though the overall map of Grand Theft Auto 6 is scaled down right now as I just mentioned, there are sources saying that GTA 6 will feature a part of Cuba as a playable area alongside Vice City. Not only does this mean that we will have an exciting island to explore in the game other than the main city too, but it also means that this might serve as an expansion into the narrative of the Cuban and Haitian gangs that the original game had. Though at this time, this is an insider report and not an official piece of information. It is very believable thus far because of the fact that Vice City is covered by a lot of water anyway, and that Cubans are very prominent in both GTA Vice City and Vice City stories. And then we have the fact that this insider is usually right about his reports, so that certainly helps the case. He also revealed that the game will have a time jump of some sort, which makes sense as the story is about the adventure of a criminal couple who may or may not get caught at some point, and he thinks the release date is most likely going to be 2024 rather than the end of 2023. One interesting thing to note here is that Cuba might not be a part of the game's main map and might serve as an additional location that the player visits within the story. But I hope that they let you take a flight to the place anytime that you want, because only being able to visit places temporarily, like Liberty City and GTA San Andreas, kind of sucks. Grand Theft Auto is no stranger to expansions that come out after the game is already released. And no, this is not because DLCs are too big of a thing in 2023. In fact, the very first expansion that was released for a GTA game was London 1969 Mission Pack, which was made for the very first GTA game in 1999. This pack not only included new missions, but even gave us a new city to explore in the face of London, which is also one of the very rare times when a GTA game had a real city, other than Manchester. Then we had the fact that GTA San Andreas came with Liberty City in the game files, which was used for a mission in the story, and GTA 5 took us into a small town based on North Dakota aka North Yankton for a mission too. This shows you how much the developers always wanted to add extra locations in the game, but sadly there is never enough time to completely polish those locations for the player to explore. More recently we have GTA Online, which gave Rockstar Games an opportunity to let players enter an island that is not a part of the main game at all. I am, of course, talking about the Cayo Perico heist, which gave us the opportunity to visit an all-new location as part of a free DLC. The Cayo Perico island has an exotic setting which is a nice contrast to the urban Los Santos, and players get to visit a club, ride dirt bikes on rocky roads, and explore a bit of the water around. Unfortunately, we aren't allowed to visit the place with freedom, and you are forced to commit to the mission, but it still gives you a taste of what getting extra locations in a GTA game after its release can be like. Additionally, we even know for a fact that GTA 5 was originally meant to get story DLC, so it's not even just online content that may give us more locations in the future. According to insiders, there is a good chance that GTA 6 might get new locations to visit later on as DLC or in the form of expansions. And this can be both online or for the single-player experience, or even both. This would help Rockstar make the game come closer to their original vision. And frankly, games are way too expensive to make and can take a literal decade to get a sequel now, as we've seen with GTA 6 itself. So it would make perfect sense for Rockstar Games to expand more on GTA 6 years after its release, instead of just waiting for the next sequel. So, one way or another, while it's extremely fascinating to see what Project Americas could have originally been, we're still in good hands and we'll get an amazing map in GTA 6 nonetheless. And in time, we might even get updates that add more locations for us to explore. And before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to give a massive shout out to all of my awesome patrons over on Patreon. You guys are the absolute best, and I can't thank you enough for your incredible support. To all of you watching, if you enjoy what I do and want to support me even further, consider becoming my patron, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, you won't miss out on any exciting Rockstar Games content coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. The future is exciting, and I can't wait for more GTA 6 news and the reveal trailer. But for today, that's it. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and see you in the next one.